The frozen moon had no name on most star maps. People just called it Ice 47 because it was the 47th rock found circling the big gas giant in that empty part of space. Thick white snow covered everything. Sharp winds screamed across wide plains of ice. The temperature stayed so low that normal breath would freeze into tiny crystals in seconds. In the middle of this empty white world stood Outpost Epsilon 7. From far away, the outpost looked small and weak. A few low metal domes rose just above the snow. Thin antenna poles stuck up like thin trees. Solar panels, half buried under ice, caught the weak light from the distant sun. Official records in the Galactic Trade Network said this place was only a science station. It watched stars and gas clouds. 12 humans lived and worked there. Nothing special, nothing important, easy to ignore. But the 12 people inside were not scientists. The best soldiers Earth could train. Captain Daniel Hayes stood at the main window in the command dome. He was 41 years old, tall, with short dark hair and calm green eyes. He watched the black sky through thick glass. His face showed no worry. He had seen many hard fights before. This moon was just another job. Scout drones report 3 Krell ships dropping from orbit, Lieutenant Sofia Rivera said. She sat at the sensor console. Her voice stayed even, like she was reading a shopping list. Sofia was 32, short, with black hair tied in a tight bun. She always kept her uniform clean, even on this frozen rock. Daniel nodded once. How long until they land? 20 minutes if they keep current speed. Drop pods already launched. Looks like 30 pods, standard assault pattern. Around the room, the other team members listened without speaking. They had practiced this many times. Corporal Matthew Brooks cleaned his heavy railgun one last time. The weapon was long and black, heavier than most men could carry. Matthew was big, with wide shoulders and a quiet smile. He liked machines more than people. The railgun was his favorite. Sergeant Ava Thompson checked her small pack of explosives. She moved fast and silent, like a shadow. Ava had brown eyes that missed nothing. She could walk across fresh snow and leave almost no tracks. Her job was to find weak points and break them. Private Ryan Patel worked on the communication panel. He sent quick coded bursts to hidden relays far away. No voice, no long messages, just numbers and patterns that only Earth Command could read. Ryan wore thick glasses. His fingers danced over the keys faster than most people could follow. Christopher Lee and Kevin Morales sat near the weapon lockers. They checked power cells for their rifles. Both men were young, strong, and serious. They did not joke when the enemy came close. Isabella Grant loaded extra magazines for her pistol. She was small, but very quick. Her dark hair was cut short. She could fix any machine or break any lock in minutes. Mia Wynn stood by the medical station. She prepared trauma kits and stim packs. Mia spoke softly, but moved with purpose. Everyone trusted her hands when things went wrong. Daniel looked at his team. 11 faces turned toward him. No fear, only focus. Remember the plan, he said. We give them nothing. No radio calls, no energy spikes. We let them think this is an empty science post. When they come inside, we hit hard. No prisoners until I say, stay cold, stay quiet, stay alive. Everyone nodded. Outside, the sky lit up for a moment. 3 large Krell ships broke through the upper clouds. Their hulls were dark green, covered in sharp spikes. Engines glowed bright blue. The ships looked like angry insects. Smaller shapes fell away from the ships. Drop pods. Each one carried 8 Krell soldiers. The pods burned red as they fell through the thin air. They hit the ice hard. Snow exploded upward like white fountains. Hatches opened. Tall figures stepped out. The Krell were frightening to most species. They stood over 7 feet tall. Thick armor plates covered their bodies like insect shells. 4 arms, 2 strong legs. Sharp mandibles clicked when they spoke. Their eyes glowed yellow in the dark. Each soldier carried a plasma lance, a weapon that shot hot fire, hot enough to melt steel in one burst. Overlord Vrax led the first wave. He was bigger than the others. Gold lines marked his armor. A long cape made of metal threads hung from his shoulders. Vrax had crushed many worlds. He believed no soft-skinned species could stand against the Krell dominion. Humans were new to the galaxy. Weak, scared, easy prey. Vrax pointed one clawed hand at the domes. "Burn the surface buildings first," he ordered in his harsh, clicking voice. "Then we take the prisoners. I want their commander alive. The others can die." Plasma lances fired. Bright bolts crossed the dark sky. They hit the outer domes. Metal glowed red, then white. Pieces flew into the air. Snow turned to steam. The Krell soldiers laughed, a sound like breaking glass. They marched forward in tight groups. Boots crunched ice. No resistance, no shots, no alarms. Vrax felt pleasure. This would be quick. Another easy victory before they moved closer to the human home system. Inside the main command dome, red lights flashed softly. The team watched screens. Thermal cameras showed the Krell moving closer. 30 meters, 20, 10. Daniel raised his hand. "Hold." The Krell reached the first broken dome. They kicked open the door. Inside, nothing. Empty chairs, dark screens, papers scattered on the floor. One Krell soldier stepped forward and touched a console. It was cold, dead. Vrax narrowed his glowing eyes. They ran, cowards. Search the tunnels. Find them. His soldiers spread out. They entered the connecting tubes that ran under the ice between domes. The tunnels were narrow and dark. Lights on their helmets cut through the shadows. Ava Thompson waited in a side passage. She crouched low behind a stack of supply crates. Her breath was slow and controlled. She watched 3 Krell walk past. When the last one passed her hiding spot, she moved. Silent, fast. She pressed a small button on her wrist. A thin wire shot from her sleeve and wrapped around the last Krell's neck. One quick pull. The alien dropped without a sound. Ava dragged the body behind the crates. She took its plasma lance and hit it. They did not see her coming. Matthew Brooks lay flat on a high ledge inside the main hab dome. Snow covered his ghillie suit. Only his eyes and the end of his railgun showed. He breathed slow. The scope showed clear pictures, even through the storm. He lined up the crosshairs on a Krell officer standing near a drop pod. The alien pointed and shouted orders. Matthew squeezed the trigger. A soft crack, almost lost in the wind. A metal slug flew faster than sound. It punched through the officer's helmet. The Krell fell straight down, dead before he hit the ground. 2 more shots, 2 more officers down. The Krell soldiers looked around, confused. Where were the shots coming from? They raised their lances. Too late. Daniel Hayes spoke into his throat mic. Now. The outpost came alive. Hidden panels in the ice opened. Small drones rose into the air. They were quiet, no bigger than a human hand. Each drone carried 1 micro-missile. The missiles flew straight at the Krell groups. Explosions bloomed across the snow. Alien armor cracked. Bodies flew. Screams filled the cold air. Ryan Patel sent one final burst of code. Far above, in hidden orbit, stealth satellites turned their sensors toward the Krell ships. Data flowed back to Earth Command. The trap was set. The bait had been taken. Sofia Rivera looked at Daniel. They think we're running. Their scanners show low power. No ships, no fighters. Daniel gave a small smile. Good. Let them land more. We want the whole battalion down here. Outside, Overlord Vrax stared at the burning drop pods. His mandibles clicked in anger. This was not supposed to happen. Humans did not fight like this. He did not know yet. This small frozen outpost was not weak. It was the sharp edge of Earth's hidden blade. The Krell soldiers pushed deeper into the outpost tunnels. Their heavy boots echoed on the metal floors. Bright helmet lights cut through the dark. Overlord Vrax walked at the front of the main group. His forearms moved with anger. He clicked his mandibles loud enough for everyone to hear. "This is not right," he said in his rough voice. "Humans do not run from a fight like this. Find them. Kill them. Bring me heads." The tunnel split into many paths. Some led to storage rooms. Some went to old labs. The Krell split up into small teams. They kicked open doors. They shot plasma at shadows. Nothing. No bodies. No blood. Only empty rooms and cold air. One team of 8 Krell entered a wide storage hall. Crates stood in neat rows. Dust covered the tops. A Krell soldier named Grax stepped forward. He pointed his lance at a big metal box. "Open it," he ordered. 2 soldiers pulled the lid. Inside, nothing but old tools and wires. Grax laughed. They left their junk and ran. Then the floor moved. A hidden panel slid open under their feet. 4 Krell fell into a deep pit. Sharp metal spikes waited at the bottom. Screams stopped fast. The other 4 turned to run. Too late. From holes in the ceiling, small drones dropped down. Each drone was the size of a fist. They flew silent. Red lights blinked once. Then they fired. Tiny darts shot out. The darts hit Krell armor and stuck. A second later, the darts exploded. Small blasts tore open chest plates. Green blood sprayed. 4 bodies hit the ground hard. Grax was the last one standing. He fired his lance wildly at the drones. 1 drone exploded in sparks, but 3 more came. They circled him like angry insects. He swung his arms. He hit nothing. A dart hit his neck. He dropped to his knees. His yellow eyes went wide, then dark. In another tunnel, Sergeant Ava Thompson moved like wind. She wore full adaptive camouflage. Her suit changed color to match the walls. She carried a short knife in one hand and a small charge in the other. She found a Krell patrol of 6. They walked slow, checking corners. Ava waited until they passed a junction box on the wall. She pressed her detonator. The junction box exploded. Fire shot out. The blast threw 2 Krell against the wall. Their armor cracked. Ava stepped out of the shadow. She moved fast. 1 Krell turned. He raised his lance. Ava threw her knife. It sank deep into his eye slit. He fell without a sound. The others fired. Plasma bolts burned the air where she had stood. But Ava was already gone. She rolled behind a crate. She planted another charge on the floor. When the Krell rushed forward, she triggered it. The floor opened like a mouth. 3 aliens dropped into darkness. The last one stood alone. He looked around. Fear showed in his glowing eyes. Ava rose behind him. She wrapped a wire around his throat. Done. She took his lance and moved on. High above on a frozen ridge, Corporal Matthew Brooks lay still. Snow covered him completely. Only a small hole showed for his scope. The storm howled around him. Wind pushed hard, but he did not move. Through the scope, he watched the Krell landing zone. More drop pods came down. Big ones this time. Each carried heavy weapons and more soldiers. Overlord Vrax stood near the biggest pod. He shouted orders. His cape whipped in the wind. Matthew lined up the shot. The crosshairs sat on Vrax's chest. 1 squeeze, and the war could end now. But Daniel's voice came through the earpiece. Hold fire on the leader. We want him to see what happens next. Matthew breathed out slow. He moved the crosshairs. A Krell heavy gunner stood next to a big plasma cannon. The alien aimed the cannon at the main dome. Matthew fired. The railgun slug flew straight. It punched through the cannon barrel. The weapon exploded in a bright flash. Shrapnel hit the gunner and 3 others. Bodies flew. The explosion lit up the snow like daylight. Krell soldiers shouted. They pointed up at the ridge. Lances fired wild into the storm. Bolts hit ice and rock. Nothing close to Matthew. He rolled to a new spot. Slow, careful, invisible. Back inside the outpost, Lieutenant Sofia Rivera sat at her console. Screens showed every part of the base. Red dots moved, Krell. Green dots stayed still, her team. Team reports, she said into the mic. Ava took out another patrol. Christopher and Kevin hit the east landing pad. 5 pods destroyed. Ryan, status? Private Ryan Patel answered fast. Jamming is up. Their comms are full of noise. They think half their signals are coming from ghosts. I fed them fake data. They believe we have ships coming. Keep it that way. Christopher Lee and Kevin Morales worked together in the east tunnels. They carried heavy packs. Inside the packs, gravitic mines, small black balls that could flip gravity for a few seconds. They found a Krell squad moving fast toward the power core. Christopher threw one mine ahead. It rolled silent. When the Krell stepped close, it activated. Gravity turned upside down. The aliens flew up hard. They hit the ceiling with loud cracks. Armor broke. Bones snapped. They fell back down like broken toys. Kevin fired his rifle. Short bursts. Clean shots. 3 more down. Christopher planted another mine. Next group coming, he said. They moved back into shadows. Isabella Grant worked alone in the lower levels. She wore a powered exosuit. It was small, not the big ones most armies used. This one was quiet, fast, strong. She found a Krell walker, a 4-legged machine with twin plasma guns. The walker stomped through a wide hall. Its driver laughed as it crushed furniture. Isabella waited until it passed a narrow door. She jumped. Her suit's blades extended. Long, sharp, monomolecular edges. She landed on the walker's back. Blades cut through armor like butter. Sparks flew. The driver screamed. She pulled herself inside the cockpit. One quick slash. Done. She took control of the walker. She turned its guns on the next Krell team coming down the hall. Plasma bolts ripped them apart. Mia Wynn stayed near the medical bay. She did not fight on the front, but she was ready. When Christopher came back with a burn on his arm, she cleaned it fast. No words, just quick hands. She also prepared stim packs and trauma foam. If anyone got hit bad, she would keep them alive. Outside, Overlord Vrax stood in the middle of burning pods. His soldiers died too fast, too quiet. No big battle, no honor. Just death from shadows. He raised his voice. Bring the heavy walkers. Burn this place to the ice. More pods fell, bigger ones. Walkers stepped out. Tall machines with thick armor. Vrax pointed at the main dome. End this now. The walkers fired. Plasma hit the dome, metal melting, but inside, the team did not run. Daniel Hayes watched from the command room. He spoke calm. Phase 2. Let them think they're winning. Sophia nodded. She pressed a button. Under the ice, hidden doors opened. Small launch tubes rose up. Stealth drones, bigger than the first ones, flew out. They stayed low, invisible to most sensors. The drones flew toward the Krell ships in low orbit. They carried no big guns, just smart payloads. One by one, the drones attached to the ship's engines. Small cutters sliced fuel lines. Nanite swarms poured in. The swarms ate wiring. Engines coughed, died. Alarms sounded on Krell bridges. Captains shouted. Ships started to drift. Vrax looked up. He saw lights in the sky flicker and go dark. His mandibles clicked hard. What is this? A voice came over his helmet comm. It was calm, human. This is Captain Daniel Hayes. You attacked Outpost Epsilon 7. Bad choice. Vrax roared. Show yourself, human. Face me. Daniel answered. We already are. You just don't see us yet. On the ground, the last Krell heavy walker turned. It aimed at the command dome. Matthew Brooks fired one more time. The slug hit the walker's power core. The machine exploded in a huge fireball. Flames lit the whole valley. Krell soldiers ran. Some dropped weapons. Panic spread. Vrax stood alone in the snow. His cape burned at the edges. He looked around at the bodies of his elite troops. For the first time, doubt entered his mind. These humans were not weak. They were something else, something deadly. And they were only getting started. The storm grew worse. Wind howled like angry animals. Snow flew so thick that even the Krell helmet lights could barely cut through it. Bodies lay scattered across the ice. Green blood froze fast into dark patches. Burning drop pods sent black smoke up into the sky. Overlord Vrax stood in the middle of it all. His cape was torn and scorched. One of his lower arms hung limp from a railgun hit he had not even felt at first. Pain came later. He looked at the command dome. It still stood, though its outer shell was cracked and melted in places. No humans ran out. No white flags. Nothing. Vrax clicked his mandibles hard. They hide like rats. Bring the siege walkers. Blast the dome open. I want their leader's head on my spear. From the sky, bigger shapes fell. Siege walkers. Tall machines on 6 thick legs. Each one carried heavy plasma cannons and missile racks. They landed with loud thuds that shook the ground. The walkers started forward, slow but unstoppable. Inside the command dome, Captain Daniel Hayes watched the screens. Red dots showed the new walkers moving in. He turned to Lieutenant Sofia Rivera. "Time to show them we are not hiding," he said. Sofia nodded. She touched her console. Activating Phase 3, Orbital Denial Online. Far above the moon, hidden in the dark between stars, small platforms woke up. They looked like junk, broken satellite parts drifting in orbit. But they were not junk. They were weapons. Stealth arrays built by Earth engineers. Each one carried railguns that fired slugs at speeds that broke physics rules for most species. The arrays turned. They locked on the Krell capital ships, still hanging in low orbit. The ships had started to drift. Their engines coughed from the nanite attacks earlier. Crews tried to fix them. Too late. Quiet thumps sounded in space. No flash. No sound anyone could hear. Just fast metal slugs punching through hulls. One slug hit a main reactor. The ship bloomed into a silent fireball. Another slug tore off engines. The ship spun slow, helpless. On the bridge of the flagship, the Krell captain stared at red warning lights. "Impossible," he hissed. "No human fleet detected. Where are the shots coming from?" A voice answered over open comms. Calm, clear, human. "From the outpost you attacked," Daniel said. "You should have left when you had the chance." The Krell captain roared. He ordered full retreat. But half the fleet was already dead or dying. The rest turned to run. Too slow. Back on the ground, the siege walkers reached the edge of the outpost. Their cannons glowed hot. They fired. Plasma bolts slammed into the dome. Metal screamed. Chunks flew. The dome shook hard. Inside, the team did not flinch. Christopher Lee and Kevin Morales ran to the lower levels. They carried long cases. Inside, portable launchers. Not big, smart. They climbed up emergency ladders to hidden hatches in the ice. The hatches opened just enough. Cold air rushed in. Christopher aimed first. His launcher locked on the nearest walker. He fired. A thin missile shot out. It flew low and fast. No smoke trail. The walker's sensors did not see it until too late. The missile hit the joint where leg met body. A small explosion. Then gravity mines inside the warhead activated. The walker's legs flipped upward. The whole machine turned over like a toy. It crashed down hard. Armor cracked. Guns pointed useless at the sky. Kevin fired next. His missile hit another walker in the chest. The blast was small but perfect. It opened a hole. Inside, the driver panicked. Kevin's second shot went straight in. The walker stopped moving. The other walkers turned their cannons toward the hatches, but the hatches closed fast. The team was gone. Ava Thompson moved through the storm outside. She crawled on her belly. Her camouflage suit matched the blowing snow. She carried 4 microcharges, tiny bombs no bigger than coins. She reached the base of one siege walker. The machine towered over her. Legs stomped. She waited for the right moment. When one leg lifted, she slapped a charge on the joint. She rolled away. The charge went off. The leg buckled. The walker leaned, then fell. It crushed 2 Krell soldiers who ran too close. Ava did not stop. She moved to the next one. Matthew Brooks stayed on his ridge. He changed positions every few minutes. The Krell tried to find him with scanners. They found nothing. He breathed slow, watched, waited. A Krell officer stood on a wrecked pod. He waved his arms, gave orders. Matthew lined up the shot. One pull. The officer dropped. The soldiers around him froze for a second. Then ran in panic. Ryan Patel worked fast at his station. He sent false signals, made the Krell think human ships were coming from 3 different directions. Their radars showed ghost fleets. Captains shouted, split their forces, made mistakes. Isabella Grant took the captured walker she had stolen earlier. She drove it out into the open. The Krells saw their own machine coming. They did not shoot at first. Then she opened fire. Twin plasma cannons ripped through a line of Krell troops. Armor melted. Bodies flew. She turned the walker toward the last siege machine. It fired back. Bolts hit her armor. Sparks flew, but her suit held. She charged. Blades out. She jumped, landed on the enemy walker. Blades cut deep. Metal screamed. She tore into the cockpit. The driver died quick. Mia Wynn moved between tunnels. She carried a heavy medkit. Christopher came back with shrapnel in his leg. She cut away cloth, pulled out metal, sealed the wound with foam. Gave him a stim shot. He nodded thanks and went back to fight. Sophia watched everything. She spoke into the mic. Walkers down. Ground force reduced by 70%. Their ships in orbit are breaking apart. Daniel stood up. Good. Now we push. He opened a channel to the whole team. All units. Counterstrike. Hit them hard. Drive them back to their pods. No mercy. The humans came out. They did not charge in a big line. They moved smart. Small groups. Fast strikes. Ava and Matthew hit from the sides. Snipers and shadows. Krell fell without knowing who killed them. Christopher and Kevin used the last gravitic mines. They flipped whole squads into the air, then shot them down like targets. Isabella drove her walker through the center. She crushed resistance. Plasma fire answered her. She kept going. Ryan sent one more trick. He made the Krell comms play human battle music, loud drums and guitars. It confused them more. Overlord Vrax saw his army break. Soldiers ran back to pods. Some dropped weapons. Others shot at shadows. Fear spread fast. He roared at them. Stand, fight, honor the Dominion. Few listened. He turned toward the command dome. One last push. He gathered the last of his elite guard, 20 strong Krell in heavy armor. They marched forward. Daniel watched them come. He spoke to Sophia. Open the main doors. Let them in. Sophia raised an eyebrow. You sure? Daniel smiled thin. Yes, time to end this part. The big doors of the main hab dome slid open. Lights spilled out. Warm air met cold. Vrax saw it. A trap? Maybe, but he needed a win. He led his guard inside. The doors closed behind them. Inside, empty halls. Lights dim. No humans. Vrax clicked. Spread out. Find them. His soldiers moved forward. Then the floor shook. Hidden turrets rose from the ground. Not big. Railguns spun up. They fired. Slugs punched through armor. Krell dropped. Green blood sprayed walls. Vrax dove behind a console. He fired his lance. Bolts hit turrets. Some exploded, but more rose. From side passages, the team appeared. Daniel stepped out first. Rifle ready. Sophia beside him. Others followed. Vrax stood up. You dare face me? Daniel looked at him calm. You came to my house. You brought an army. Now look around. Bodies everywhere. Smoke. Fire. Broken machines. Vrax laughed. A hard, angry sound. This is one outpost. The Dominion has thousands of ships. We will burn your world. Daniel shook his head. You still do not understand. He raised his hand. Sophia pressed a button. All around the moon, hidden speakers came alive. A message broadcast on every Krell frequency. This is Outpost Epsilon 7, forward base of Earth's Shadow Legion. Your attack failed. Your fleet is destroyed. Your ground force is dead. Return home. Tell your leaders. Earth does not hide. Earth waits. And when you come, we are ready. Vrax stared. His mandibles opened. No words came. Daniel looked straight at him. You wanted prisoners. You wanted glory. All you get is a warning. The last Krell guard tried to fight. Short bursts from human rifles. They fell fast. Vrax stood alone. He dropped his lance. His arms hung down. Daniel stepped closer. Live. Go back. Tell them what happened here. Vrax looked at the human. Small, soft skin. No armor like his, yet unbeatable. He nodded once, slow. Then he turned, walked to the doors. They opened. Outside, one last pod waited. Damaged, but working. Vrax climbed in. The hatch closed. The pod rose, slow, into the storm. The remaining Krell ships, the few that still flew, turned away. They ran. Inside the dome, the team gathered. Tired, dirty, alive. Daniel looked at them. Good work. Sophia smiled. Phase 3 complete. Matthew cleaned his railgun. Ava checked her charges. The others rested. The moon grew quiet again. Snow fell on the dead. Wind covered the marks of battle. But far away, on Krell ships limping home, the message played again and again. The galaxy would hear. The small outpost was not small. It was the beginning of the end for anyone who thought humans were weak. The last Krell pod lifted off slow. Its engines glowed weak blue against the black sky. Snow swirled around it, like angry ghosts. Inside, Overlord Vrax sat alone. His armor was cracked in many places. Green blood dried on his chest plate. One eye was swollen shut from a close railgun miss. He stared at the small screen on the pod wall. It showed the moon below, white ice, black smoke, burning wrecks. His army, gone. The pod broke atmosphere. It joined the few surviving ships. They flew away fast. Engines pushed hard to escape the system. No one spoke on the comms. Only quiet fear. Vrax opened a secure channel to his flagship. The one ship still able to jump. The captain answered right away. His voice shook a little. Overlord, we are ready for your report. Vrax clicked his mandibles slow. Record this. Send it to High Command. No changes. No lies. He leaned closer to the screen. The humans did not run. They waited. They struck from shadows. Their outpost was no science post. It was a trap, a killing ground. Every soldier fought like 10. Their weapons cut through our armor like thin cloth. Their machines moved faster than ours. Their minds planned better than ours. He paused. His good eye stared hard. We lost everything on the ground. Walkers, soldiers, honor. In orbit, their hidden guns tore our fleet apart. No warning, no battle line, just death. They spoke to us, called themselves Shadow Legion, said this was Earth's forward base, said we attacked their elite unit. Vrax's voice dropped lower. Do not come to Sol. Do not send more ships. The humans are not prey. They are hunters. They let us come close so they could cut us deep. Tell the Dominion, tell everyone, stay away. He cut the channel. The pod docked with the flagship. Vrax stepped out. Crew members stared. They said nothing. He walked to the bridge, sat in the command chair, closed his eyes. Stars stretched into lines. They ran home. Back on the moon, the storm started to calm. Wind slowed. Snow fell softer. The team came out of tunnels and hidden spots. They gathered near the main dome. Bodies everywhere. Alien weapons lay broken in the snow. Smoke still rose from wrecked walkers. Captain Daniel Hayes stood in the open doorway. His rifle hung loose on his shoulder. His face was dirty. A small cut on his cheek had stopped bleeding. He looked at his people. Sofia Rivera walked up first. She carried her console tablet. All teams report in. No dead. 3 wounded light. Mia patched them already. Daniel nodded. Good. Secure the site. Collect what we can use. Burn the rest. Matthew Brooks came down from his ridge. His railgun rested across his back. He looked tired but calm. I counted 147 confirmed kills from my position alone. Ava Thompson appeared from the shadows. She wiped green blood from their knife. Add 30 more from the tunnels. Christopher Lee and Kevin Morales dragged a heavy Krell plasma cannon. They dropped it near the group. This one still works, Christopher said. We can strip it for parts. Isabella Grant stepped out of her captured walker. The machine hissed as it powered down. She patted its side like an old friend. Tough little thing. Saved my skin twice. Mia Wynn moved between them. She checked wounds, gave water packs, spoke soft words to keep everyone steady. Ryan Patel stayed inside for a moment. He sent the final data burst to Earth Command. Live footage, sensor logs, enemy comm intercepts, everything. The message ended with one line. Objective complete. Bait successful. Awaiting new orders. Daniel looked up at the sky. Stars showed through thinning clouds. They will get the message. High Command will see the footage. They will know what we did here. You think they will send more? Maybe, Daniel said. But not soon. Not to this system. And when they do come again, they will come careful. Or not at all. He turned to the team. Rest now. 2 hours. Then we clean up. We leave no trace that says elite unit. We leave traces that say lucky science team fought back. Let the galaxy think we won by chance. Everyone nodded. They knew the game. Shadow Legion did not show strength. They hid it. They let enemies think humans were soft. Then, when the enemy came close, the trap closed. They worked fast. Ava and Matthew planted charges on the biggest wrecks. Explosions would look like accidents. Or like the Krell ships bombed their own troops in panic. Christopher and Kevin loaded captured tech into hidden storage under the ice. Future use. Future fights. Isabella drove the stolen walker to a deep crevasse. She pushed it in. It fell long and silent. Burned it clean. Ryan wiped all logs that showed too much. Left only what looked normal for a science outpost. Sophia monitored long-range sensors. No new ships. No signals. The Krell had truly run. Daniel walked alone to the edge of the outpost. He stood on a high ridge. Looked at the battlefield. Bodies half covered by fresh snow. He thought about the cost. Not just here. Every outpost. Every hidden fight. Every time humans bled quiet so the rest of Earth could sleep safe. He spoke into his mic. Soft. Only Sophia heard. We are the wall no one sees, until it hits back. Sophia answered from the dome. And we hit hard. 2 hours passed. The team gathered again. They looked different now. Uniforms cleaned. Faces calm. Weapons hidden. They looked like tired scientists who survived an attack. Daniel opened a channel to Earth Command, voice only. Shadow Legion, Epsilon 7, site secure, enemy force destroyed, survivors fled. Recommend next bait outpost, designation Alpha 12. We move in 3 days. The reply came quick. A woman's voice. General Olivia Grant. Copy, Epsilon 7. Well done. Data received. Casualties? 0 KIA, light wounded only. A short pause. Good. You bought us time. The Dominion will think twice now. Maybe more species will hear the story. Maybe they will talk, instead of fight. Daniel smiled thin. Maybe. New orders incoming. Rest, then move. Shadow Legion never stops. The channel closed. Daniel looked at his team. You heard her. Rest now. Eat, sleep. We leave soon. They went inside. Warm lights. Hot food from the galley. Quiet talk. Small laughs. They were tired, but alive. Together. Outside, snow kept falling. It covered the last marks of battle. Soon, nothing would show but a broken science outpost. A place where humans fought back against odds. A story the galaxy would tell. But the ones who knew the truth were few. On distant worlds, Krell survivors landed. They told their tale in dark halls. They spoke of humans who did not scream, who did not beg, who killed with cold skill. Word spread. Traders in neutral stations whispered. The humans have hidden teeth. Pirate fleets changed course away from Sol. Old enemies paused. And somewhere in deep space, another outpost waited. Small, quiet, frozen or desert or jungle. Same design, same team rotation. Another bait, another trap. Daniel Hayes sat in the command dome, alone now. He looked at a small hollow photo on his desk. His family back on Earth, wife, 2 kids, safe because of nights like this. He touched the photo. Thank you, he said quiet. Then he stood up, walked to the window, looked at the stars. Somewhere out there, the next fight waited. Shadow Legion was ready, always ready. The galaxy would learn slow, but it would learn. Attack the quiet places, find the sharpest blades, and bleed. The small pod, carrying Overlord Vrax, jumped away with the last Krell ships. Their engines burned hot and unsteady. Inside the flagship bridge, lights flickered. Alarms sounded soft and constant. Crew members moved slow, like people in a bad dream. No one looked at Vrax when he walked in. They kept their eyes on screens. Fear hung thick in the air. Vrax sat in the command chair. His broken armor creaked. He stared at the black void outside. Stars moved past in long white lines. He thought about the moon, about the snow, about the humans who did not scream or beg. They just killed. Clean, fast, cold. A young officer stepped close. His mandibles clicked nervously. Overlord, High Command wants your full report. They demand it now. Vrax looked at him. One eye still swollen. Send what I already said. Add this. The humans have a unit called Shadow Legion. They hide in plain sight. They look weak. They are not. Tell the Council. Tell every fleet. Sol system is closed. Anyone who goes there dies. The officer nodded quick and left. Vrax leaned back. He closed his eyes. The pain in his body was nothing compared to the pain in his mind. He had led thousands to victory before. Now he led ghosts home. Far behind, on the frozen moon, the team finished their work. The last wrecks burned controlled. Black smoke mixed with snow. Soon the wind would erase everything. Outpost Epsilon 7 would look like a sad story again. A science post hit by raiders. Humans lucky to live. That was the lie they wanted the galaxy to believe. Captain Daniel Hayes stood outside the main dome. His breath made white clouds. He watched the sky. No more ships. No signals. Quiet at last. Lieutenant Sophia Rivera walked up beside him. She zipped her coat higher. All charges set. We blow the last evidence in 10 minutes. Then we pack for the next site. Daniel nodded. Good. Any word from command? New orders came in. Alpha 12, Desert World. Hot, dry. Same setup. Small dome. Fake antennas. Same game. Daniel gave a small smile. They never learn fast, do they? Sophia looked at him. Some do. The Krell might, if Vrax talks enough. Inside the dome, the team ate their last meal on Ice 47. Hot stew from packets. Bread that tasted like cardboard, but filled the stomach. They sat in a circle. Tired faces, dirty uniforms, but eyes bright. Matthew Brooks cleaned his railgun one more time. I think I like the cold better than sand. Sand gets everywhere. Ava Thompson laughed soft. You complain about everything. At least sand does not stick to your scope like frost. Christopher Lee and Kevin Morales played a quick card game on an empty crate. They bet stim packs. Winner got extra sleep shift. Isabella Grant sat against the wall. She sharpened her monomolecular blade with a small stone. The sound was steady, calming. Next place has no snow. I can wear lighter gear. Move faster. Angie Nguyen passed around water. Drink, all of you. Dehydration sneaks up. I do not want to patch heatstroke on day one. Ryan Patel looked at his tablet. I already started the fake logs for Alpha 12. Science data, star readings, boring stuff. Makes us look harmless. They talked low, joked a little, remembered small things from the fight. The way the first walker fell, the look on a Krell face when a drone hit. They did not brag, they just shared. It kept them close. Daniel walked in. Everyone went quiet. He stood in the middle, looked at each one. You did good. Better than good. We took on a battalion. Lost nothing big. Gave them a story they will carry forever. High Command is happy. The brass says this might slow the Dominion for years. Maybe more species will stay away too. He paused. But we know the truth. This is not the end. It is never the end. There will be another fleet, another species, another trap. We are the wall. The one no one sees until it is too late. Matthew raised his cup of water. To Shadow Legion. Everyone raised theirs. To Shadow Legion. They drank. 10 minutes later, the charges went off. Distant booms rolled across the ice. Bright flashes lit the night for a second. Then darkness again. The wrecks were gone. Scattered metal. Nothing left to study. Nothing left to prove elite soldiers lived here. The team loaded their gear into a small stealth shuttle hidden under the ice. The shuttle was black. No markings. Quiet engines. It rose slow, broke through the snow crust, flew low over the white plains, then up, into the black. They left no trace. The shuttle jumped to a hidden waypoint, a dark asteroid field far from normal lanes. There they met a supply ship. Fresh uniforms, new weapons, food, meds, orders on encrypted drive. Daniel read the new file first. Alpha 12, a red desert world. Old mining post abandoned long ago. Perfect cover. Same plan. Wait. Look weak. Draw them in. Cut them down. He looked at the team. They rested in the small cabin. Some slept. Some stared at stars through the window. Sophia sat next to him. Think Vrax will make them listen? Daniel shrugged. Maybe, maybe not. Does not matter. If they come, we meet them. Same as always. She nodded. Same as always. Weeks later, word spread slow through the galaxy. Traders in smoky bars, diplomats in quiet halls, pirates in hidden docks. They told the same story. A Krell fleet hit a small human outpost. Easy target. Science place. No defenses. Then the outpost ate the fleet. Ships burned in orbit. Soldiers died in snow. One survivor limped home. Overlord Vrax. He spoke to the council. His voice shook. He said the humans hid killers in plain sight. He said never go to Saul. Some laughed, called it coward talk. Others listened, stayed far from Earth space. On neutral stations, aliens looked at human traders different now. Not with hunger, with caution. A big insect-like merchant leaned close to his friend. They looked soft, but maybe not. His friend clicked mandibles. Maybe never. On Earth, normal people lived normal lives. Kids went to school. People worked jobs. Families ate dinner. They did not know about Shadow Legion. They did not need to. That was the point. In a quiet room deep under a mountain, General Olivia Grant watched a holoscreen. Footage from Epsilon 7 played silent. Humans moved like shadows. Krell fell like leaves. She turned to her aide. They did it again. The aide nodded. Yes, ma'am. 0 losses. Full enemy rout. Olivia smiled thin. Send them the next rotation. Keep the chain going. The aide left. Olivia looked at the screen. Daniel Hayes' face frozen in a still image. Calm, steady. Thank you. Out in deep space, the stealth shuttle flew toward Alpha 12. Inside, the team slept or talked low. Daniel sat at the front. He looked at the star map. Red dot blinked. New bait, new trap. He thought about his family. Safe. Because of this work. Because of nights like Ice 47. He touched the controls. Course locked. Sophia came up. Ready? Daniel nodded. Always. The shuttle jumped. Stars stretched again. Another world waited. Hot sand. Empty domes. Fake science gear. Another enemy would come someday. Curious, greedy, sure of victory. They would land. They would laugh at the small outpost. Then they would learn. Shadow Legion waited. Quiet. Patient. Deadly. And when the trap closed, the galaxy would hear one more story. Of humans who looked weak, but were the sharpest edge of all. The shuttle flew on. Silent. Invisible. Ready for the next fight. For now.